So right now I'm going to tell you a story about this guy. This guy represents me. It's a lonely designer working part-time for a company that has an army of developers. Now, how is it possible for a part-time designer to actually manage to get enough designs out and to manage to get enough work done to supply this army of developers with work? Well, that's the concept of this talk, Winning by Design, the Power of a Systematic Approach. So I'm going to give you really hands-on advice about how I make this happen. So a couple of years ago, I was working for a company called NOWJOBS. They had a digital product where people could find a temporary job. A lot of students use that to work in the weekends at bars and etc. And I was actually doing this factory work. I was a product designer. I was using Sketch back then instead of Figma. But then I met Timothée from Dualoop there, and he told to me like, hey, maybe you should try out Figma, and I was in love at first sight. So what was I doing there? I was really doing like, factory work. The developers, they needed every single screen, and it felt like monkey work that I was doing. I could not focus on complex user problems and flows. There was growing inconsistency in the mobile app, no clear guidelines, and the devs, they were dependent on the app designs. I was not a product UI UX designer, I was a designer on request. They just told me, okay, today you have to design this screen, user story, functional analysis, this and that. And yeah, it was just not working out for me. I was only part-time there because they did not have budget for more time. So I had to figure out another way. Again, not thinking enough about the general UX of the app, doing things here and there, and I was living from user story to user story, and I do not want to live from user story to user story. I really want to focus on the users, like the previous talk people said, about the general user experience of the digital product. So, I'm using a lot of GIFs, by the way. Not sure if it's cool or if it's already boomer thing, but whatever. So it was time for a change. So we needed consistency and a systematic approach. If you combine them, you get a rocket. We're at Rocket Day, so I had to add a GIF of a rocket. Systematic approach. It was pretty simple. I introduced this. Does anybody know what this is? Yes, it's Lego, but what does it represent? Anybody has an idea?
It's a design system.
Yes, a design system indeed. As you can see, Lego is also actually a real-life design system. So I introduced the concept of a design system, or we started working on it at NOWJOBS. What is it? It's a set of reusable components. It gives clear product guidelines, and it is your single source of truth. I will show you something more concrete after this. What did I wanted to do at NOWJOBS? Of course, set it up in Figma. I totally left Sketch. It was quite a hard breakup, but Figma was my new love, so yeah. So I went for a setup in Figma. We needed documentation in Confluence, and then also we needed adoption by the organization. So one of the things that a product designer also has to do is make wireframes. But there was not a lot of time for me to work on that, so I created a wireframe toolkit that product managers or anybody else in the company can use. And I will show this right now, if it works. Also, I'm using a couple of songs in the presentation. If you can guess the theme of the songs, I will buy you a beer afterwards. Well, the beers are free, but I'll just bring you one. I don't know if the sound is coming. So I made this wireframe toolkit. Okay, that's not good. With components. And yeah, as you can see, people just can easily make their wireframes themselves really, really easily. I gave a little training to the people that wanted to use this because, of course, Figma, it needs a little bit of training. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Don't know if you can hear the song. It is Toy Story, yes, yes, but it's not the team. So yeah, this Wireframe Toolkit, it's a pretty long video. Maybe I can skip it, but it was sorry? We got the point. Yeah, okay. So really easy for other people to use it. And then in a next step, oh, this is confusing. Okay. In the next step, we built this design system in Figma. And I also made a little movie about it. So as you can see, the team is rocket indeed, yes. As you can see, so we put all the components of the app inside of Figma, and yeah, it's like a big, big library actually of components. I don't know if it's like really new for a lot of people over here, but it was a first step in this systematic approach, and by doing this, I could really, really quickly make new screens, like I will show you right now. So in like a couple of minutes, I can start making a screen, and I can start iterating on it. So that's pretty cool, actually. So coming something else, just waiting for that. Not really good to have silence in a talk, but... So what I did is over here, you see so this is also like a thing that you often have to do. You have to make designs, and then you need to add people or names or whatever. So I use all these kinds of tools to populate the design. So it's pretty cool. It's a plugin in Figma, Google Sheets Sync plugin. So yeah, really nice. Now, how do you get buy-in for a design system? Of course, you need to sell it to management, to your CPO, head of product, co-founder, whatever. But once you're on board with that one, you also have to get buy-in from the organization. People need to be enthusiastic about it. So what we did at NOWJOBS, super simple. We organized a competition to name it. Everybody could send in names. Afterwards, we could do a vote. And together, we got to name nodes. And it gives a feeling for the people that you know, they are part of it, and they can also do something that it's not only the designer or the design system manager that is in charge of it. You have to look for colleagues that really want to help. Not every developer or colleague is really interested in that, but fortunately at NOWJOBS there are a couple of really nice developers that really want to help. So you have to find these people, and you have to really get them together. In bigger companies, there are dedicated design system teams, but in smaller companies like startups, scale-ups, it's not possible, so you have to kind of make your own tribe out of it. Present it to the whole company and create hype about it. And how do you create hype? By making another video. So yeah, that's how you create hype. We made this video just purely for an internal presentation, but I think the people, yeah, they got some enthusiasm out of it. So if you can do like these extra things, really just do it. All right, Yaay, there's a design system, but now, yeah, what else for that systematic approach? you need to establish a clear design process. Of course, this is something you have to do together with product managers and other people in the organization. But it has to be clear how you approach things. So in our case, flowcharts, wireframes is something we do together with the product managers, and then with the design system we can easily and quite quick make designs. So establish that clear design process, super important. Communicate clearly who's responsible for what. As you may, if you remember, at NOWJOBS in the beginning there were different people doing design. So we had to make clear, like, okay, Seba is now the guy doing product design. If you have questions about that, contact him and not any other people. It may sound silly, but it's important to communicate it really clearly. Async communication is also important. Post Slack updates about what you're doing. Make Loom videos explaining stuff, also really good. And appoint a design system manager, or at one point, if it's possible, a team. So you really have like somebody that's in charge of the design system, or at least managing it and guiding it. All these things, yeah, again, gives me superpowers. All right, for the last part of the presentation, I'm going to talk about how to validate a design with real users in one day. And again, I'm going to highlight a tool which I think is really cool. It is called Maze. It is a French scale-up now, really growing fast. And with this tool, you can easily send out user tests to all your users. You can do it remotely, you can do it async. And I, again, have a video for it. No music this time. You can build a questionnaire with all types of questions. You can import a Figma prototype into it, and then out of it, you can get a lot of results. So we built this, we built a prototype in Figma, we import it in Maze, and then with Maze, we can just copy a link, we can send it out to, maybe you have a Facebook group or a Slack community or a mailing list with people that want to join these user testings. And afterwards, you get like a lot of insights about what they answered. You get heat maps about the Figma prototype, so it's really interesting. And during COVID times, it was super useful that we could do this, because it was not possible to bring in users to the office. So this is a really, really cool tool. Why am I highlighting it? It's because I'm also part of the Maze Creators program, so you can head over to the website, and somewhere on the blog, me and some other designers, we made a case study how we used Maze in a particular company. So this is a case study about NOWJOBS, and I am also going to make one for NodalView soon. So yeah, really, really cool tool. To wrap it up, how can you win by design? Build a design system, use your time smart, don't do monkey work, use the right tools, it will give you superpowers. Engage the organization by communicating a lot, and establish a clear design process within the product framework. So the people at Dualup, they created a really nice product framework, and design is a part of it. So yeah, that was it, but I actually have one more thing. So I talked about building, shaping a design system, and what we want to launch today is actually a new service that Dualup and PandaPanda is going to launch together. And again, it is a video. You can go over to the website called productdesignsystem.com, and there we explain how we shape a design system. So if your company is interested in setting this up, or you need some experts about it, you can go to that website and get in touch with us. So it's something that we're doing together with Dualup. So yeah, productdesignsystem.com is live from now on. And that's it. Thank you very much.